Hello and welcome to Dice Friends. Today, I am your GM. I'm Kathleen, and we're playing episode 2 of Fang and Claw, which is an Over the Edge campaign in the 3rd edition of Over the Edge. This is a short story that I have called Louie Louie. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is we're going to introduce our characters and ask them a question about themselves. Dale, who are you playing?
I am playing Luka Petrovich. He is a former antiquities dealer and auctioneer from Eastern Europe. He is here because he has been instructed to be here. He doesn't know why he has been instructed to be here, but he gets these weird instructions, and resisting the instructions never goes well for him. So he's just obeying the voice.
Right. And why did you take up fencing?
So there's this sword, and I just thought I was being handed the sword because I had to verify that it was authentically what it was claiming to being. It wasn't, but it turns out it's some sort of weird magical sword, and every once in a while it appears in my hands, and I can fight with it. I have no control over when this sword shows up. It seems to be a magical sword for reasons other than just the teleportation, too. Like one time, it caught fire while I was wielding it. I nearly dropped it. That was terrifying. Another time, it started talking, and it had pretty harsh words to say to me about my swordsmanship. And I'm like, well, that wasn't a fun conversation. So I took lessons.
Delightful. Our next player tonight is Andy, who is playing Patterson.
I am indeed. I'm playing Patterson, who is an interrogation expert on loan from the Canadian government. And I also have a new specialty that I'm calling G-manipulation. That I have advantage persuading entities openly representing the state.
Oh.
Felt that suited it.
I do have a question for you, Patterson.
Yes, hello.
What's your favorite movie?
That would have to be the 1987 classic drama Harry and the Hendersons. Yes. It is a film.
I knew it.
It is a classic William Deere directed film, John Lithgow. A brilliant performance, not to mention Melinda Dillon. It is something very dear to me, even though I just about said Henry and the Hendersons. Still, the Canadian version is Henry and the Hendersons, and everywhere else was Harry and the Hendersons. It's the boîte orange of film. Anyway, but that's very. I have it on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and I have it engraved scene by scene into my wall at home.
Suit Mac and me.
Yep. Wow. Ian, you are playing Arthur Kleinman.
Thank you for doing half of my job for me. That makes it a lot easier. Yes, I will be playing Arthur Kleinman, the man of indeterminate European descent. I've been living here on Almahara as far back as I can remember, which means at least 6 months or so. Yeah.
And my question for you is, how did you react after the man at the pet store said that Vera the hawk had gone sad and was refusing to eat after you returned her?
Oh, that touched me right in the heart place where I would have the beating organ that moves the blood and whatnot. It's the bird to me was an unexpected companion, and yet as much as they are, like me, are solitary beasts, these birds of prey, they are still birds, and therefore they require a bit of social interaction. And I guess I was providing something for the birds that it could not get on its own, or some other rentals. So I decided that this would be a time for me to break the bonds and free it from its servitude and make it my own home, mate.
Aw. And finally, joining us is Matt. Tell us about your character, Matt.
Hello, hello. My character is Kyle Ulster. He is a mercurial bodyguard to many different high-profile philanthropists and their children. It's basically his life. He goes around the world, sees a lot of rich people and their kids.
Excellent. Do you have any tattoos, Kyle?
Yeah. Clarissa, Vanessa, Charissa, and Joy. Joy was a handful.
Wow. I have further follow-on questions, but I'm not sure of the rules. So I guess we'll leave it there. All right. The next thing we need to do before we actually start the game proper is that we need to roll for karma. So everybody roll 2 dice and tell me if you get a double.
So I have my special Kickstarter dice. They have minus signs on the 3s in case you forget that those are bad, and they have plus signs on the 4s in case you forget those are good.
That is a good idea. I've rolled 2 sets of 2s. Should you?
Ooh. All right. Did anybody else get doubles?
Nope.
I almost did. I rolled a 6 and a 5.
All right. Well, I mean, extra doubles don't give you bonus karma, but you do have karma to start your game, which is very excellent.
Hooray.
Thank
So-
you, Ian.
You start your game. Having just received a briefing from Dr. Fang, and she has sent you on your way because her gardener came to her and requested assistance that was more than the local uncle's security could provide, and she very much likes her gardener. So she is entertaining what is going on. So the 4 of you find yourselves outside Honest Roberts Landscaping, which is a company sort of on the edge of the Sunken District, which is an unexciting district where the most legitimate a business can be probably on the edge is probably making its headquarters. And by the fact that, you see that it looks really nice outside their headquarters, and there's gardening equipment everywhere. This honestly actually does appear to be a landscaping business. But anyhow, you have been sent there to meet with the boss, one Honest Robert. And it is late and the office is closed, and there's not much been told other than that.
Are the lights on?
The lights are on. You are being expected.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So before we go in, is this everyone's first time working for Dr. Fang?
No. I've been around the block before with Dr. Fang, as I believe Mr. Kleinman has as well. Isn't that right, Arthur?
Yeah, Herr Fang has given me many chances to prove my worth, and I hope that I have not let them down.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Mr. Ulster, is it? May I call you that?
Yeah, Mr. Ulster, sure. Kyle, whatever you like.
Fantastic.
First time around the block with this particular case. Fang. Interesting one.
Oh, I think
see.
you will find that she is harsh but fair.
They usually are.
She has us doing some really weird shit, though, and I won't mince words. I don't usually swear, but I feel that the feces is particularly odd. Would you care to know what we've been up to with Dr. Fang?
Yeah.
If it'll help with the work.
Oh, very well. Then I will be happy to enlighten you. This happened, GM. How long ago was the last adventure?
A week ago.
This happened about a week ago. Myself, Mr. Kleiman, and one Vera Chow, who is absent. She is. What is Vera Chow doing right now?
Undisclosed things. Being
Vera's
kind of mean. I don't know.
Vera's doing her own moody thing someplace, and we respect her personal time. But anyway, we were assembled at the at the what was it now? It was the Hop Shots Cafe in the Bienvenidos Hotel in the Plaza of Flowers. We were assembled there by Dr. Fang, who was a doctorate in astrophysics, and she wanted us to find some odd scorpions, which was all the information we were given. We were given an electrified cage and asked to find that in a Hilton in the sunken district, which I believe is a couple blocks away here. From where we were standing at this very moment. We got a few things. We went to a Love and Lease pet store, and where Mr. Kleiman got his beautiful falcon, Fluffy Vera, who I am taken to believe has a very strong bond. I haven't seen this sort of thing since the first viewing of Harry and the Hendersons. Just love at first sight. It was a beautiful thing. From there, we of course went to the sporting goods store, where I got two catcher's mitts, one righty, one lefty. Vera got herself a lovely net that had daisy patterns on it and a bow. And Mr. Kleiman, what did you get at that store, by the way? I can't remember.
Yeah, I cannot remember either. It was so long ago, just a week. It cannot have been in importance. I must have dropped it on the way back from what we were trying to do.
That's a shame. I'm sorry to hear that. But anyway, we got in a total taxi, which I did not like. I did not like that. That was not an enjoyable experience for me. But we got to the sunken district, and we stopped right outside of that John A. McDonald's. I don't recommend going there. The clowns carry knives. I have a back wound that is healing fairly well, enough so that I would say that strike I got in the last session no longer applies. Just going to call that right now. It was very good. I got very good treatment from one Miss Lily. Highly recommend her at the Hilton. Very good for helping with that sort of thing, and has some excellent psychotic unguents that I would recommend if you're wanting to try it out, that sort of thing. But anyway, we found some psychic cockroaches, and some carapaces, chitin, some sloughed off chitin that we returned to Dr. Fang. And which we couldn't find the odd scorpions, but anyway, we gave her that. The scorpions were taken away by a stranger in a old green van. That's all we know about that. The other entities, the other players in this game, and now we are here about a gardener.
And was Dr. Fang satisfied with your work?
She seemed fine with it. It didn't seem to go either way. What would you say, Mr. Kleiman?
I would not say it's just neither good nor bad. It's the best evidence is the fact that we remain here on this island and on this planet and in this world, in fact, with our lives. That tells me that we did a good enough job to continue. So, yay!
Hurrah! Anyway, gardening.
Yeah.
Are either you, Mr. Petrovic, or Mr. Elster, are you into the verdant arts?
There was a time when I had to identify a trowel from ancient Greece.
Really?
Oh.
Goodness.
It was a fake.
Oh, I see. Well, that's just most disappointing.
I tend to stay away from the green myself.
Well, hopefully we are not asked to take over for this honest Robert. That would make things difficult without any sort of, experience. But perhaps we should meet with this gentleman and discover what it is that we are here for.
Let's do it.
Okay, so walk up to the front door, I guess. Is it locked?
No, the front door is open, and you can see inside when you open the door that there is a guy. He's sort of he's a big guy. He's very muscular, but he's older, like he's maybe in his mid-50s. So he's sort of muscular in a way that he was very muscular, but now he's a little softer, but still looks strong. He's there, and he's sort of pacing back and forth, and he goes, are you here from Dr. Fang? Are you the people that Dr. Fang said she would send?
Yeah, we are those people, honest Robbie. What ails you?
Oh, please call me Robert. Hello, welcome. This is I'm a gardener. We provide all sorts of services to to spruce up gardens and stuff like that. But occasionally, you know, people people want to have a little bit more protection with their gardening because of course there are pests, right? That could get into a grand garden in a rich person's country estate, and you certainly wouldn't want a deer getting in and eating all the hostas, right? No.
Yeah.
No. So, we in addition to our gardening, and he leads you sort of through a door, and you go out the side of this little small office, and then like you can't see this part from the road because it's a series of like beautifully maintained hedges and bushes that are all in flower and they look great. But back here is a huge pen of baboons, and this is like a bunch of baboons that live in like a family area. And But there's a lot of baboons, and there's baboons on the island, but these are all like tame baboons, and they look like the kind of baboons that you do not wish to meet in a dark alley or a, eating a hosta, I suppose. So, and then, you walk past this huge baboon pen where there's like 40 or 50 baboons, variety of different ages, and there's families and stuff like that. And it's enormous. And you go into another office, and this is the office. This is a separate building. And this is where the people who work here actually work. So, like, this is where you've got like files everywhere and accountants and like a schedule. And there's like a garage attached to here. And in this office, there is another baboon cage. But the baboon cage here is a very nice baboon cage, and it's connected to the office, and it's got a door in the back. And then so Robert brings you in here, and he says, Louis is gone.
Oh, who is Louis?
Perhaps I'm going to take a long shot here, but are you referring to, in fact, the king of the swingers?
No,
The Jungle VIP?
Yeah, it's the very same.
Yes, the Jungle VIP. He's the king of our baboons. He's the head baboon. He's got his, and he's gone. I don't know why. I think someone, and so he's sort of like scared and agitated. He doesn't understand how this could have happened because there is no baboon in here. But there's also no sign of like a struggle or an escape. And like the other baboons don't seem upset, which is weird. And the other baboons haven't been touched. And so he's like, I don't know what to tell you.
Are you sure the baboon is not with the others?
Oh no, we know all the baboons here. He's not here. He's gone. I don't understand.
How can we tell it's him if we see a bunch of baboons?
Oh, I can tell it's him. That's
Yes.
the important thing.
Are you coming with us?
Oh. Well, let's see. He has intelligent eyes for a baboon. This guy's like a baboon weeaboo. But yeah, so I guess what you'll do is we'll eventually find out he's an old baboon, so he's got like white hair.
Cool.
So he's old for a baboon, I guess. Baboons live about 35 to 40 years, so he's about 30 in baboon years.
Any other distinctive markings or ways of mannerisms that we may be able to tell King Louis from any of the other baboons roaming around the island?
Oh, he moves. Louis is king because he is really good at deterring deer from eating hostas, if you catch my drift. He is efficiently violent. He is the greatest baboon hunter we've had. That's how he became king of all the baboons.
So we need to bring you a baboon with white hair that is good at being violent.
Correct. But here's the deal. I'm worried that whoever kidnapped him, if they could kidnap Louis, they must be extremely dangerous. we received this flyer. And he like fearfully hands you something.
All right, I take it. I take it and I look at the flyer and I open it up.
All right. It says PEBA, PEBA at the top. And it says People for Ethical Baboon Advancement. And they say, and the flyer says, the use of baboons to do work uncompensated is unethical. And it's just PEBA.org at the bottom.
Well, I see. All right. Well, Mr. Honest Robert, is there anyone within your organization that may have something against you, something to gain by sabotaging your business in this way? Anyone you're suspicious of?
I mean, I would say all my employees are like family, but that does make that incredibly much more suspicious, doesn't it? Oh no. But we're a small family. We're a small family business. So, you know, I don't know why anybody would try to sabotage our cash cow. We don't have any competitors. We suck Louis on them.
I say, well, that's a good business strategy.
Perhaps this is a aspect of the people at this PEBA, maybe wishing well upon more than just the baboons. Perhaps these deer are also under some sort of protection?
That's a good point. I never want. Yeah, when an animal rights activist watches the Discovery Channel and they see that cheetah chasing that gazelle, are they rooting for anyone in that instance?
I would assume that much like attorneys at law, they are interested in whomever they are representing at the time. And that outside of that is a cold, calculated assumption.
Interesting. Perhaps we should investigate this PEBA.org website. Does anyone have a smartphone handy?
So I'll pull up the website.
Great.
Now, Robert, we might have to take down this King Louis, like physically in a fight, in order to capture him. Does he have any weaknesses?
He laughs at you. He's like, "Oh, good luck, I guess. I suppose if you shot him enough, I would really rather you not shoot him. I would rather you just find him and let me try to get him back."
All right, Patterson makes a note in his notebook. Take alive if possible.
Very valuable.
Very valuable.
Does he know where he lives? If we find he's imprisoned and release him, will he come home?
Oh. You know what? That's probably extremely likely. Yes. I think if you just let him loose, my famously murderous baboon, probably nothing would happen bad. He'd probably just come straight back here. I mean, he's got so many amenities. We do make him comfortable.
Excellent.
And do you have an association with these PEBA persons? Have they contacted you before? No.
No. Well, they've been sending. We've seen their flyers around the neighborhood, and for months now. But we assumed they were talking about people who don't treat their baboons as well as we do. As you can see, you know, even though baboons are an endemic pest around here, we found that a happy baboon is much more likely to rip the head off any intruder, I mean deer, that might happen to get into your client's yard or, you know, secure grounds around a research facility, than, you know, a baboon that's on edge and maybe, you know, doesn't see why it should listen to you today.
Understood.
In my experience with baboons, you may want to reconsider your A/B testing on that, but I will assure you that we will bring your baboon back safe.
So have I been able to find, like, does PEBA have a physical address, or can I tell, you know, are they hosting their website on the local net, or like what can I see looking at it? If I look at the source, how old is this code? Is this something someone threw up a week ago? Has the site existed for a couple of years?
This site seems to have existed for several months, we'll say.
Okay.
The site is very bare bones. It's basically the same thing that you can see on the flyer. but it does have like, you know, a local, like a news thing at the bottom. But right now, it just says that the annual convention is happening today. So, you know, but of course, it just says annual convention today.
Does it give a location?
It does not. But, well,
Is there contact information on the site?
there is a bunch of social media accounts, in fact.
Ooh.
So there's
Perfect.
Instagram accounts.
Well, yeah, we could message them on the Twitter if we wanted to get not a response at all. We could message them on Facebook if we wanted to have our files rooted out by the authorities. Or yeah, we could use this Instagram to perhaps ask them for an invitation to their annual. Because a website for taking pictures is exactly the sort of place where you should be consolidating your communication.
Yeah.
Perfect sense.
Are there any photos in their Instagram of any recent captures, like a King Louis gorilla?
Unfortunately, there are not. There are no recent captures of a King Louis gorilla, but there's a bunch of like facts about gorillas and like gorilla IQ and like baboons and like cute, and, like, as cute a picture of a baboon as you can get, which is still not very cute, to be honest with you, because they're horrific murder machines. But like it's like definitely the most sympathetic baboon photo you've probably ever seen in your life, and stuff like that. But I would say that if you're looking for an average result of skimming this Instagram account associated with an underground society in Al-Hamara, no, you will not get a time and date upon which that they are going to be having their secret society meeting. But perhaps if you wanted to spend some time investigating, you might be able to pay attention to, commenters and patterns and stuff like that. You could also look around here and check out the office, but don't let me tell you what to do.
I'd like to look around here and check out the office.
All right. Well, where do you want to look?
All right. So this is a smaller building in the back. Is that right?
It's actually not that small of a building. It's like, like your typical, like, working, like work office. There's like, it's like got like a break room and like a couple of different offices. And like, there's the King Louis's pen. And then there's also access to a huge garage where they keep lots of like vehicles and more equipment. And like there's also surveillance cameras and all sorts of things that you can check out.
Well, if there are surveillance cameras, we should check the recordings to see what happened in King Louis's pen.
Perfect. Well, so you go to Robert's just going to give you free access. You don't have to ask. So you go to the surveillance cameras, and there you can see that at about 3 a.m. I won't even make you roll for this because it should be easy to see. The surveillance cameras are unfortunately posted on the outside to stop rival landscapers tampering with their baboons and stuff. But you can see at about 3 a.m, a van leaves here.
Oh, what color is the van?
That's green.
Oh, dun dun dun, says Patterson aloud. A green van, just like the one that took the odd scorpions. Maybe a connection here.
So can we get any sort of identifying marks? Can we see a license plate number?
Yes, you can. I will give you the license plate number. VMY1C6.
VMY1C6.
And does Robert know where that van went, or did it come back?
No, in fact, if you look in the garage, you see that the van, that there is like literally like one a spot where the van has left. Do you want to look around some more? Because I think an average roll is going to give you that there's a spot where the van has left, so it's clearly there's your missing van.
So the green van belongs to the gardening place.
Yes. And in fact, like all the other vans, it has Honest Robert's Gardening on the side.
Oh. Hmm.
I mean, Kyle would want to get any clues he could in order to find King Louis. He'd be scouring the place.
You'd be scouring the place? All right. Are you going to be scouring in here? Are you going to scour his cage? Where else? Or like around?
The cage seemed, at least in the description given, to not be tampered with and normal. So out here, I think.
All right. Out here. All right. Well, you can see that they're on the floor. It's kind of dusty and dirty, but you can see that there is like a small, very faint, track every so often of like wood chips, but like little tiny wood shavings, like little like dusty ones, like soft bedding.
Like what you would put in an animal enclosure, perhaps.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And those tracks don't just lead straight to the van. They sort of seem to go all around this office, honestly.
Is this an open plan office? Are there cubicles? Are the individual areas like separate rooms? Like how much space is around King Louis's pen? Does someone have a desk where they have to like be in the same room as a smelly baboon while they're doing their accounting?
Yes, in fact, yes, exactly. The accountant's desk is literally next to Louis's enclosure. It's sort of like, like a few feet away.
Mr. Honest, can we talk to this person, please? How can we get hold of this person?
Well, I'm just to make your life easier, I'm going to say Rachel is here, and she will talk to you now.
Sorry to interrupt your coffee break.
Oh, that's okay. It's pretty weird not having Louis around.
So, what is it like working at a desk adjacent to a cage with a baboon?
Well, normally you'd think that would be horrible, but Louis just seems pretty chill. Everybody loves him, and he's like the baboon king. But I think he's mellowed out, in his in the last couple years or so. Mostly, he just seems to like to watch me work.
Miss Rachel, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Did you notice anything strange about Louis or his cage or any sort of surrounding environs the day of the kidnapping?
No, I don't think so. It seemed like a pretty normal day. Aside from that Peba flyer showing up.
I see.
Did you see anyone who dropped it off as they were doing it?
No, I didn't. It showed up at about 3 in the afternoon yesterday, though.
About 3 in the afternoon, and the van seemed to leave it. Arrived and left at 3 a.m.
The van did not arrive here. The van left here at 3 a.m.
Left at 3 a.m. And the flyer showed up at 3 p.m. the following day.
The previous day. So at 3 in the afternoon, it's 3 because I lack imagination, not because there's any significance there.
That's all right.
At 3 in the afternoon, a mysterious flyer showed up, and people weren't paying attention, so they didn't see who dropped it off because they weren't expecting somebody to walk up to this office and put in a flyer. And then at 3 a.m., a van left. And then when they came into work this morning, Louis was gone, and now you're here.
When we walked past those other baboon pens, did the baboons react to us at all?
They watched you with mistrust and excitement that they might get to eat you and make your acquaintance. But they didn't immediately go for you.
Hey, Robert, a question for you. Whose job is it generally to interact directly with King Louis?
Oh, my job and our head gardener's job, Greg. Would you like to talk to Greg?
Not necessarily, but do you communicate directly with any of the other baboons? I mean,
Oh.
I assume in order to cause them to do your bidding, you must give them orders of some sort.
Absolutely, I know all my baboons. I could literally name all 46 baboons in here. You'll just have to give me a second to make up their names.
Would it be possible to, through you, perhaps question a few of these baboons? We have a very talented interrogator here with us.
Yes. Yes,
I
and
mean-
I have a primitive soul.
If you think it will help me, get any information, yes, please.
And if there's a chance that anyone saw someone leave with a baboon outside, I'm sure the jealous baboons still trapped within their cages would be willing to talk.
Oh, I don't think that you should go into the cage. I think we should have this talk while you are outside of the cage and they're inside of the cage.
Absolutely, as many physical barriers and emotional between me and the baboons as possible is optimal.
Oh, Mr. Kleinman, you're a wise man. All right, let's go talk to some of these baboons. Let's see, who's really smart? Let's see, smart baboons. Queen Necropsy. Here, Queen Necropsy. And this huge baboon comes over and she's like, I don't know what a baboon does, so just...
It's good. And Patterson looks her dead in the eye, strong eye contact, and he makes himself a little larger, and he goes,
The baboon looks at you like a game knows game situation. It's like,
good. And then I take out my notepad. I take out my notepad and I draw. I draw.
You physically
This.
draw.
I physically draw this, and I point to it, and I tap it. And I look. I have a questioning hiss, and I go.
and she goes, which meant baboons don't necessarily speak in full sentences, but you get a strong whiff of he is gone, but it is for the best.
Ah, very good. Well, I do as a sort of thank you.
Right. She shows you her butt, which is her way of saying thank you.
And I look appraisingly and very positive, and and I turn to my others and I say that it appears that Queen Necropsy has indicated that the other baboons approve of what has happened to Louis. That Louis has gone to a better place. Something positive has happened to King Louis.
Positive for King Louis or positive for the other baboons?
Hard to say.
They're probably a bit more self-centered than your average monarch Louis.
Possibly. Well, very good. I don't know how much more hissing and things will be gained from interviewing the baboons. But I am curious about the green van. If the green van, we have the license plate number, and apparently this van is a part of this corporation. I would like to inquire after who has the keys. You know, who is this? Is this something that is being checked out at any point?
Oh, absolutely. The keys, of course. The keys would be in Steve's office, our equipment manager, and Steve is there.
Okay.
And Steve just got here, though, so he's arrived to work. He is also in a state of Louis is gone, and there is. His office there, and you notice, Kyle, because you said you were scouring over this, that those fine wood chips are also in here, and there's some on the desk and stuff like that.
Okay.
So Steve is here, and do you want to ask him any questions?
Of course we do, Mr. Steve. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Excellent. As you know, King Louis has gone missing.
I know, a horrible tragedy.
Indeed. I appreciate the shown emotion, and I've taken note of it. we are to understand that one of your green vans left 3 a.m. The other night, and we strongly suspect that Louis may have been inside of that van, or someone associated with his notable absence has been inside of that van. The license plate is, we can tell from the security camera, was VMY1C6. Is that van accounted for currently?
No, it's the one that's missing out there. Also, the keys are gone. And he shows you that, but normally we keep the keys in a lockbox that is, and of course the key to the lockbox is in my desk drawer so other people could get into it. But for insurance reasons, we have to keep the keys locked up. But that's kind of, so anyhow, but the key to the, so the key to the lockbox is still in my drawer, but somebody has come and unlocked the keys, taken the keys to that van, just that van, and then relocked the box and then put the key away.
Oh. That is oddly courteous.
Do you have a tracker on your vans?
We don't. They're all pieces of crap.
Damn it. Mr. Kleinman, would you like to take a look at this lock, see if you can see anything noticeable about it?
Absolutely. I mean, if it's been opened with the keys, there's probably no chance that there's been any chance of forcing, but I will have a look.
It's a normal lock, and it has not been forced.
Yeah, no problem here. The security in here is quite lax for an area that seems to have as many baboons as it does.
Do you know what the baboons are, though? They're security.
That's like hens guarding their own hen house.
So there are lots and lots of cameras everywhere in the edge. Do any of you have any contacts or know some people who could get the traffic cam information and follow the destination of the van?
Oh, I think my boss knows someone who's supposed to be bad news. One Dr. Fang. I guess we could ask her. Let me see.
I was actually directing that to the other PCs. That was a good answer, Kathleen.
So we go back and contact Fang for this tracking.
And she'll send out a group of her people to take care of it.
No, I see a recursion here.
How many green vans of this particular type do you think there could be on Almaha?
Well, probably a few. Probably very few. I would say probably 12. That say Honest Robert's Landscaping on the side of them, 11 of which are accounted for, so really only one.
Perhaps then what I can do is send Vera, the floppy version, up into the sky, and she could scout around and perhaps spot a green van for us.
Oh, that sounds excellent. What a good idea.
Vera, go!
So, yeah, let me see. I think Vera is going to, you've communicated adequately that you're looking for a green van. And
But it's sniff a green van beforehand.
She is going to circle around and come back. And I don't know how a bird tells you she's seen a thing and where to go, though.
Probably usually just by circling above it, but that's up to you to decide.
All right. Okay, cool. In that case, Vera circles around for a long time and is looking. And then she circles sort of over to the main part of the main plaza of the Sunken District and circles over there. But that's like right where the train station is. And there's like, that's where the big hotel is and all sorts of things are. And then she comes back and flops down. And all the baboons are like, "Woo, I want to eat that." Oh, it doesn't come over near there, and they wanted to eat Vera, but they didn't get to. While Ian is watching Vera do all this, does anybody else want to do any more investigating or looking at anything in this office?
Did we actually look at the cage?
Not in great detail, or did we?
Kyle did not. Kyle went to the garage area and scoured it, not the cage.
Perfect.
I would like to see if there is some sort of bulletin board where there are inter-office memos.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There's absolutely a bulletin board where there are inter-office memos. Andy,
Yes.
what are you looking for?
I don't know. I thought it would be fun flavor.
Oh, perfect. Oh, in that case, great. There's going to be a chili cook-off next month, and Bob has promised that he's not using any more of those weak-ass peppers, so I expect a real taste explosion. There's a betting pool for like the latest sports ball season. Let's see, somebody's trying to sell like a sofa, and they're even going to promise to deliver it. But there is also a flyer for Caesar's Hotel, which is one of the hotels in the plaza, the Sunken Plaza. I'm getting this slightly wrong because it's the Sunken District. Let's see. Is there a plaza there? There's just
every district has a plaza in the middle. That's where the metro stops.
All right. Oh, yes, overlooking Sunken Plaza is a tall, shiny, modern tower. That's Caesar's Hotel. There's a flyer for Caesar's Hotel around here, stuck onto the bulletin board as well.
Is that right near where Vera was circling?
Yes, it was, in fact.
Huh.
The pieces are connecting. And it says, one of the names that I associate with baboons above all other is Caesar.
So does anybody else want to look at literally anything?
I feel like Kyle would be chatting up Robert, somewhat for work, but just in general chatting him up in a very friendly way, asking about any of his employees or coworkers that seem to not be coming in on time, or they've been lax in showing up the last couple days.
As it turns out, all of Robert's employees are pretty happy and chill because despite the fact that they work with killer baboons, they're actually like, as far as like business people go, these aren't bad people as, in LMRHAR standards, right? So there is nothing. This seems unusual. There's Roy, who's his rival in the chili cook-off, but
So I just have a couple of things I want to check out. First, does it look like the cage was forced open, possibly from the inside, possibly from the outside, or was it look like it's unlocked?
The cage, in fact, has not been forced open whatsoever. It looks like it is unlocked, and there is, what I'll give you, there's no need to investigate. I'll just tell you everything. There's a couple of pieces of bent wire in the cage, and the cage is otherwise completely unmolested.
In the cage, like someone in the cage might have been reaching through the bars and unlocking the door from the outside that way?
I think so, possibly.
Huh.
Oh.
All right. I'll make sure that I set those aside for Arthur to look at, because I don't know anything about that. And my other question is, does it look like this company ever does any actual gardening, or are they strictly a murder baboon company?
No, I think they do some gardening. They do some gardening for like clients out in the suburbs and stuff like that. And if the neighborhood gardening association gets too competitive, maybe then the murder baboons come in. But the murder baboons are for more exclusive clients, I will say.
Okay. If there's nothing else going on here, should we reconvene at Caesar Hotel after a break? Or is there more stuff to do here?
No, I think that the only other thing of interest you're going to find is an Amazon box containing the packaging for a rubber Justin Bieber mask.
Oh, that's delightful. Excellent. Well, I am Patterson will take a deep note of that, including the serial number, and whether this seems to be how far on the degrading of Bieber's life and It is in the picture on the cover.
Number of face tattoos, please.
Number of face tattoos. Yes, that's the perfect way to describe it.
This is pre-dirtbag mustache phase Bieber. This is a younger, fuller-faced, less tattooed around the face and neck Bieber.
Someone Kyle will take care of.
No, still a horrible, still a little shit, but like more like a,
I mean, Joy was one of those too.
Okay. Like this is like 17 or 18 Justin Bieber, like peak teeny bopper phase, I think.
Excellent.
The platonic ideal of Bieber.
Marvelous. Well, what do you say we go check out Caesar's hotel?
Yeah.
Let's go.
To the plaza.
Can we walk there? Can we?
That is a very decent walk. We may need to get a cab. Would it be preferable for you to perhaps be hooded for this cab ride, Patterson? I know the previous one we took caused immense distress.
Yes, if
I
we
know
are.
where they keep the van keys. We could drive there.
Oh, hot tamale! What a great idea, Luka Petrovic. Could we talk to Mr. Robert and borrow a van?
I mean, they are covering our expenses. I think it's assumed if you have access to the vans.
Yeah, absolutely. You can borrow a van, says Robert. Here you go. And he hands you the keys.
Fantastic. Who has a driver's license? I don't.
Kyle does. Kyle can drive. He has to drive children around all the time anyway.
Marvelous. Good luck. I've seen the traffic out there.
All right.
So the van is super crappy, and it only has 2 seats at the front, and the back is like a combination baboon transportation zone / where they put like actual like landscaping garbage. So it's like really dirty back here.
Covered in fertilizer.
Yeah, and
fertilizer.
and poo and baboon hair and like grass and pine cones and whatever else, right? Like,
Is that back cage removable? Can we leave that here?
no, they are very securely welded in, so somebody has to ride in the cage.
All right.
Shoddy not. Shoddy not.
I'm in the cage.
Oh,
And you're feeling just fine.
I'm going to say because I didn't have the heart to make people who weren't going to be kind to animals, even an Over the Edge campaign. There is an optional baboon seatbelt if you want it. These baboons are valuable.
Yeah.
They're trained to kill for with extreme precision. Like you can't give up one of those due to poor traffic. So.
Yeah, I'm not a big guy, but I suspect a baboon seatbelt still wouldn't fit around me.
Just
like, yeah, they're strong and they can bite through a man's wrist, but they're not very big.
There's lots of probably some good seating though for that baboon posterior. Probably some form-fitting memory foam.
I would suggest if you cannot secure yourself with the seatbelt, perhaps you grab hold of the bars out the back of the van and scream all the way to the palace.
Oh, I wish I could do that as myself. Oh, that sounds so liberating.
We can say Patterson's in the back just having a moment of euphoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I suppose you get to the plaza with some amount of screaming. And you are here, and you're in the sunken plaza. There's all sorts of stuff around, and stores, and you're here. What do you want to do?
So there's the hotel that is what Vera identified. Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Well, do we scope out any other vans in front of any particular building? I assume the hotel, but
I think the first thing we do is we go straight up to the desk at the hotel, and if we find out if anyone looking like a younger Justin Bieber has checked in. a younger, hairier Justin Bieber. Let's be completely honest.
Yes, but with better manners.
Yeah.
All right. So the cool thing about the Caesar Hotel or Caesar's Hotel is that there's two wings to Caesar's Hotel. There is the tall, shiny. I'm just reading right from the guidebook here. Modern tower. That's the left-hand wing, and that's the really nice tower. That's the one that you've walked into. Like it looks like one of them fancy boutique hotels. You've got definitely all of that weird oversized furniture that looks like melted blobs of icing that's been sort of piped out and been filled with buttons, and it all looks uncomfortable but cool. And like there's some music that's going da, 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 over the PA. Everybody's dressed very smartly. And then so there's that wing, but then there's also the way less good wing, which is the normal wing. That's the lower wing. That's the special wing. The front desk will serve both wings, but they assign you based on what they think of you.
And how much of a baboon you smell like based on what cages you've been riding in?
Possibly, yes.
I will hang back.
I guess
Right.
Kyle walks up to the front desk and asks about a beaver.
Hello. Welcome to Caesar's Hotel. How may I help you?
We're looking for an individual in a poorly fitting nylon, was it, mask? Plastic mask?
Probably a rubber mask.
Rubber mask, yeah. A rubber mask of some teeny bopper celebrity, I don't know. Whoever the kids are into.
He's a friend of ours. He checked in earlier and we're rooming with him.
Oh, I see. And could you tell me the name of the guest that I would be trying to buzz for you?
He prefers to travel incognito due to his resemblance to a certain celebrity, shall we say.
Oh, so they've checked it under a pseudonym, of course. Yes. What would that pseudonym be then, so I can get a hold of them for you?
Oh, that's a good question.
So, like all people in the Edge, some people are open to like more bribery and stuff like that. But this person is going to be extremely difficult to get information on account of they work at a very swanky hotel. They're less inclined to help you because honestly, all of you look like you're on the bubble of whether you're going to the deluxe wing or the special wing.
It seems like it is time to roll some bones for the interrogator. I would like to see what happens, and I give her my Neanderthal smile. I say hello, and is there a name tag? Is there a?
Imelda.
Imelda, what a pleasure to meet you. Listen, me and my friends here on a mission of a certain delicacy, and we would appreciate any information you happen to you may feel so inclined to give us. I rolled a 5. I rolled a 5.
Which would not normally be enough to pass because you're taking the initiative, so you'd need to get a 7. Yeah. Do you have any 3s in there?
I do not. I have a 1 and a 4. So I have a 4. Wait, how could I forget? I have a 4. That is a good thing. That is a very good thing.
All right. You also have karma.
Ah, true. So I could re-roll one of these.
I recommend the 1.
Yeah. So why not? Let's do that.
You should listen to Dale.
I should.
Hold on. I will say that because this person works at a sort of a famous hotel where certain things are going on. This person is also fairly resistant. So I'm also. Should I make a reroll on this? No, I'll just take your karma. I just want to tell you information.
Okay.
Why make things hard?
Oh, very good. Well, then I shall take my karma. I'll roll that 1, and I rolled another 1. So there we are.
All right. So you don't succeed, but something good happens is the twist. So I think that you're going to. I think that you're going to talk to her, and she's going to be very helpful in a completely obsequious and unhelpful kind of way, and talk about like, oh, perhaps you could get a hold of them and get back to me, and she's making you feel like $1 million. But while this is happening, you hear somebody behind you come up into the lobby and then immediately go to the special wing. Let's see. They're going to head towards where the special wing is, and there's a very famous restaurant in there, the Hottentots. You're gonna overhear them say, "Peeba, Peeba," and then they're gonna disappear.
Ah. Well, then I will say to Esmelda. What was her name?
I've forgotten already. It's
okay. Well, then I will say, Esmelda, it is a pleasure to meet a fellow bullshitter. I hope you have a lovely day. And I step away. Yep.
Guys, the Peeba people are going over there, and Kyle immediately starts walking towards where they headed.
I follow.
If Kyle knows where they are, then we should go with Kyle.
Yeah, if you've got eyes on them. If you've got eyes on them, I will follow you.
All right. So you keep your eyes on them, and you see them disappear into Hottentots.
Is Luca with us now?
Please.
Was that table for 4, please?
Yes.
Right away. Do you have a preference, booth or counter?
So can we see like the Peeba people, and we want to request a table near them? So.
All right. So booth, certainly, of course. So anyhow, you get a booth. The specialty here at this restaurant is biscuits and gravy.
Oh. That sounds
fantastic.
Good. Kyle orders a round of that for the boys.
1 round of biscuits and gravy. What'll your bird have?
What is currently? You have fantastic tartar of the steak variety, please.
All right. 4 biscuits and gravy and a steak tartare. That's not the weirdest order I've taken today.
And 4 beers.
All right, and 4 beers.
Oh, clam juice for me. I need to keep a clear head.
And are you two having anything to drink?
Yes. I mean, 4 seems about right for the amount of time we'll be here. Let's make it another 4.
All right, 8 beers, 1 clam juice, 4 biscuits and gravy, and a steak tartare.
And water.
Hold the eggs on the tartar. It's kind of like cannibalism.
Right. Second weirdest order I've had today then. Perfect. Okay. And then so she disappears, and you can who wants to listen very carefully?
Okay.
You can, if you listen very carefully, you can hear at the table behind, like sort of 2 tables down from you, where the Peeba people are. You can hear them ordering 3 vegan biscuits and gravy and milkshakes, but vegan milkshakes, obviously. Almond shakes, I guess.
All shake, no milk.
Yeah.
Are they giving up any details about, like, hey, we're gonna move in half an hour, kind of thing? Or
they appear to be having a very hushed conversation.
Kyle works as a bodyguard, so his skill set is being very aware of his surroundings and threats, but also just gossip. He loves that gossip, so he's really leaning in as subtly as he can.
He's probably got experience overhearing conversations.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this is indeed Peeba. And you can hear that there's 1, these are all teenagers. 2, there is a complicated love triangle going on between these 3 people.
Oh,
Very apparent with the way that, like, a couple of them are like leaning towards each other, and then like the other person. It's all very, and like there's like these very occasional like foot brushes. This is like piping hot tea that you can overhear, but not perhaps relevant to the situation at hand. But they are talking, and they're just like, and you can hear them, and they're like, all right, well, I mean, like, things are off to a good start, but we're going to need more members. There's only 3 of us. Like, well, we can't make any sustained change with only 3 people. So,
Patterson speaks up. And another thing about industry farming, they don't treat their geese very well either. It's a little known fact. He says that very loud so the world can hear it. Just foie gras, fuck that. That's what I say.
God, we need to freeze these ill-treated animals. They are being treated like animals.
That's disgraceful. Mike.
seems appropriate to me, but I guess I'll go along. They seem sad in their little cages. Let's break
They
them
should
out.
at least be compensated.
perfect. God damn it. Oh, sorry, my webcam. There it goes. My webcam just went out of focus, so I was trying to fix it. All right, well, this is certainly going to get their attention because you're not being subtle, and also they're teenagers. So they're perhaps a little less aware than other people of like them, being gamed and stuff like that. And so they're going to be like, right on, man. Right on, hairy friend. Yeah. Fragua foi na. That's what we say.
That's much better than what I said. Well done.
Yeah, you can have that one for free. And so like so there's 3 of them. And the one that's talking to you is a very cool looking person in like a black hood, and they look very interesting. And they're like, hey, you a fellow lover of the animals? Come here and talk to us. And then they invite you over to their table.
So when you say teenagers, are we closer to 13 or closer to 19?
I would say closer to 19. I'd say these
Okay.
are all 16 or 17 years old.
All right.
I would like to ask first question, if I could, to them, and actually lead off the conversation once we've been sat down.
So hey, just out of curiosity, knowing that these are vegan teenagers and that you have now all moved table, are you going to ask your waitress to send over your orders of 8 beer, a clam juice, and a steak tartare for your bird? Or are you going to not have that brought to you?
It's the animal. It's the animal. They are free to eat as they need.
Oh, so they root for the cheetah then. Ah, Patterson has learned something.
It's a human interaction with the animals. It is imposing our will upon them and making them our.
I mean, the special probably looks the same whether it's vegan or not. These kids aren't going to know whether we're eating.
I, Ian, have eaten a number of gravies, and I can tell you it's very difficult to tell which ones are vegan and which are not.
Excellent. I'm eating my food.
Right. And in fact, when your food arrives, you have a sneaking suspicion all the food here is vegan. But that doesn't mean it's not good. It's all very good. They look somewhat askance at the steak tartare when it comes out, but then they are relieved when your bird eats it.
The question for you:
they also look sort of appreciate, like sort of like they eye all of your extra beers, and they're like,
it is part of the how do you say, privileges of age. Please enjoy. Take off my beer. I can order some more. How long have you been with this organization?
Only like a few months. So okay, so there's three people here. So you can talk to. I've made up their names, and I desperately want to use them. So would you like to talk to Elementine Flaubrix, Hornson Sturgeon Brick, or Nick's Symptom? Which one do you want to talk to?
Can you say that again? Elementine Flaubrix.
Elementine Flaubrix, Hornson Sturgeon Brick. Hornston, Sturgeon Brick, or Nick's Symptom. Look, the Over the Edge guidebook says that people have ridiculous names here, and I was like, but I was born for this.
You really were. Oh my God.
Who seems the least sure of themselves?
The least sure of themselves is probably Hornston Sturgeon Brick. He appears to be here because he's trying to get with Nyx, but they're teenagers.
Cal gives a knowing look to him.
Yeah, if you talk to Hornston, he's gonna be like, yeah, man, Nyx really opened my eyes to like the problems that animals face, and I think it's just so important to make sure that we respect our friends that we share the earth with, whether they have feathers or they can bite through a man's wrist.
Exactly.
Groovy.
So this is your first convention, then, I take it.
This is our first meeting ever. We've only been in association for like 3-4 months now.
Have you taken any actions?
Well, we made up some flyers.
Yeah, we saw one of those earlier.
So I'm taking it that this is
our
it.
Flyers? Awesome, man. Nyx did such a good job distributing them.
Is 3 of you then the organization here?
Yeah, but hey, now there's going to be like 7 of us, 8 if we count your bird.
God damn it. I was going to try and pose as elders of this organization, and now you've ruined it.
Sorry, man. You could be elders of our organization, man. Welcome. You guys are like ancient. You're in your 30s, right? Dang.
Thank you.
Sure, that seems like an appropriate. I am 30 years old. Perfect.
Being this close to death gives you a lot of perspective, kid.
When are we taking our break, Kathleen?
Oh, you know what? This is probably fantastic. You know what? Before you order dessert and more beers for these underage children, let's take a short break, and when we come back, more of the romantic struggles of Elementine, Hornston, and Nyx. So stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hello and welcome back to Dice Friends. When we last left our heroes, they had joined PEBA, People for Ethical Baboon Advancement, a small underground society of 3 people, all of whom are teenagers, horny teenagers at that, who have seemed to have organized on Instagram. They are in the Hottentots, which is a suspiciously vegan-leaning restaurant in the basement of Caesar's Hotel. The crap wing, not the good, expensive luxury wing. But anyhow, you're here, and you were just talking to Hornston, who it really fits his name. But there's also Elementine and Nyx. Nyx being the one that looks like they know what's going on.
I leave things to our interrogation specialist.
Oh, I say... hello, fellow... No, I won't do that joke. It's played. I say...
Hello, fellow hornies.
I say, you look like a bunch of upstanding adolescents.
I see.
Tell me, Nyx, is it? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
Excellent. We are very like-minded, I feel, you and I. I feel that you have potential. I see a bright future ahead of you, young person. And me and my associates here are very interested in what you in your plans, your ideals, especially when concerning baboons. Did you know that there is a company run by boomers called the Honest Roberts Landscaping, and did you know that they employ baboons?
Oh my gosh. We should follow each other on Instagram. And Nyx pulls out their phone and their Instagram, and they're like, because I did know that. In fact, that's what caused me to start PEBA. I was posting on Instagram, and Nyx pulls up their Instagram account, and it's all like quotes from like Marx and Engels and like socialist thinkers and stuff like that. And it's like, and I got talking to somebody in the comments, and they told me that they worked at Honest Roberts landscaping, and they said that they kept baboons, and the baboons weren't even allowed to apply for better jobs. They just had to keep being baboons, even if they were overqualified for that. And that just seemed very discriminatory against baboons.
Tragic. I shake my head very sadly to hear this.
So you can see that they are pointing to this username is Louis Blanc 1995, and they're like, what's your username? What's your Instagram? I know what children say. Christ, I don't.
You can hit me up at Harry and the Hendersons Lover 75.
Oh, wow, you're into some niche stuff, but that's cool. I'm glad. I can tell you really like animals, and they follow you on Instagram.
Excellent. I follow back.
You're now on a watch list.
Wonderful. Well, can I see through their Instagram account? This Louis Blanc 1995.
There's no pictures of Louis Blanc 1995. There is just, I've written this down, screen caps of classic texts on labor, organizing, socialism, and occasionally nice gardens in the outdoors. But recently there is a picture of Caesar's Hotel. That's the last post.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
What's the
Came in
timestamp?
At 4 a.m.
Oh, okay.
That's a weird time for this game.
This is.
There's no 3 in it. Are you sure it's not 4:03?
Fine, 3:33 a.m. I'll say the drive doesn't take that long. At 3:33 a.m., the numbers are meaningless.
So, what exactly was our mission? Can you just remind me? Are we to give Honest Robert what he wants, or are we to resolve this to satisfaction? Like, if it turns out that Louis is just out on his own because he's emancipated himself, the way that the Queen seems to think is a good thing, what is our mission? What are we trying to do?
What's Dr. Fang want us to do?
Oh, Dr. Fang sent you over because she likes her gardener and he does good work for both values of the work that he does. And he asked for her help. So she sent you, and she's like, I don't know. He says there's like a problem, and he needs some help, and I like him.
I'm sure he'll be able to trim her hedge just fine. But as for her garden, what are we going to do for that?
Ooh.
So Robert, Honest Robert, it seems to be under the seems to be under the impression that a killer baboon has vanished without a trace, and a team of crack animal rights activists have stolen him. So for various, so I mean, essentially that's sort of what happened, I suppose. Or is it? I don't know. And you know, he would like his baboon back because it's a very valuable baboon and it's the leader of the rest of the baboons. And he thinks it will make the baboons upset if they don't have their boss, or like bring disharmony to the tribe.
So he said that we had done our job if we made sure that the baboon was free to go where it wanted to go.
That's true, yes.
So that's all we have to do. So maybe we should just go back to the desk and have our interrogation specialist ask after, what was it, Louis Blanc?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the name. That's the name, yes.
Yeah, I'm up for that plan. I can follow this next person on Instagram and get in contact with them if need be.
Yeah, absolutely. Elementine and Hornson are going to both be trying to like put the moves on different members. So like I feel like Hornson wants to smooch Nyx, and Nyx wants to smooch Elementine, and Elementine wants to smooch Hornson. So I feel like this is going to happen for hours because now they've had some beers as well. So like they're going to be here if you want to talk to them again. If you want to leave, you know.
We'll get like a bottle of what, Fireball? No, that's too old. Like what are those horrible
White Claws? Get some White Claws.
That's
White
right.
Claw, yeah.
All right, so we'll just booze them up,
Mhm.
and then go see if we can find this Louis Blanc.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to say you go right back to the desk. And in fact, there's been a shift change. So there's a new person. So they won't even remember you trying to get information last time. So this is a different person, and this is not Imelda. This is a guy. So yeah. So they will. The guy is behind the counter, and he says, "Hello, welcome to Caesar's Hotel. How may I help you?"
Hello there. What's your name?
I'll just name it after. Hello, my name is Ogavin, and I'm here to be annoying. I couldn't think of anything.
Hello there, Ogavin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was wondering if you could help myself and my fellow friends. We're looking for a friend of ours who just checked in. Maybe the very late last night. If your desk is open that late, or possibly this morning.
We are always open to serve our customers. What do you need from me?
Oh, I need a couple things from you. But firstly, I would like you to let us know if someone has checked in recently under the name Louis Blanc or Louis Blanc.
Oh, absolutely, I can do that.
Thank you.
And he sort of looks at you and sort of holds out his hand a little bit, like, you might need to grease these wheels a bit.
I grease the wheels.
The wheels have been greased, and he goes, "Oh, most excellent. Well, in that case, I can be bothered to look this up on the computer." And he looks it up. He goes, "Oh, how interesting. Why, Mr. Blanc is staying in, of course, the deluxe wing of the hotel. He is on the top floor suite. And as you know, there is no top floor. Have a lovely day. Thank you."
Thank you, Ogavin, very much. And I go conspire with my other friends. So it seems like this guy's on the top floor of the deluxe wing, but that doesn't exist. Surely there must be some top. There must be a top to this building.
How hard is it to find a top around here? I'm sure we could just go up.
I'm sure Ogavin could tell you where one is, but
But one of these things I've learned about this place in the short time I've been, or long time I've been living here, it's very unclear. And the point is that when people say that something does not exist, it does not mean that it does not exist. It simply means that it does not exist.
Oh, I see.
So do we get in the staircase and walk to the top?
I mean, if we take the elevator most of the way and then take the stairs the rest, we need to.
So are you going to the stairs or the elevator?
Let's do Ian's suggestion. How tall is this hotel? Are we talking 4 stories, 25 stories?
25 stories, we'll say.
Okay. Yes, definitely elevator.
All right. So when you get into the elevator, there is floors for 1 through 25 minus 4 and 13, because that would be unlucky. So those floors aren't there. So 1, 2, 3, 5, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then so it goes all the way down to 25, and then there's an empty button with no label.
I push that one.
Yeah, we push that one.
Nothing happens, and a little light flashes on.
1 second. I know a trick about this. Can I pick the fire key in this elevator?
Oh, I think you could absolutely try.
Great, I will absolutely do so. Let's roll it out. 6 and a 1.
Hey, that's a success. So yes, you have picked the fire key from the elevator, and you have not alerted anybody to the fact that you are tampering with an elevator. Good job. You're sort of having Harry stand sort of in front of you in the elevator, so they can't see what you're doing on the cameras, I assume. So you have the fire key.
Let's hit that button again.
Shink! It goes up to the top floor.
Oh, wow. Well done, Mr. Kleinman. Wow.
Sometimes all it takes is the right key.
All right. So now you're on the top floor. This is a very exclusive floor of a very exclusive tower in a very exclusive hotel. It looks so nice. It almost just circled back around to being sort of empty and cheap, right? Because it's very minimalist. But everything's like high end. Like it's plain white paint everywhere and just like, like metal accents, but like in a way that screams high end eggshell rather than, builder's white.
So vaguely, how many suites? Is this like one massive penthouse? Like how many doors do we have to knock on and disturb?
You know what? This is a great time for me to introduce some randomness into the game.
Hooray.
6.
There are 4 of us. We should be able to find out which of these rooms the baboon is in by simply listening.
Oh, good
I
idea.
thought you were going to say smelling.
Why not both?
A high-end hotel like this, I would assume, would have some sort of a back pressure from the rooms out to the hallways to keep any sense interior. It's a common feature.
All right. So if you just do a really basic listen at the doors, I don't think you're going to hear anything. And I don't think you're going to smell any telltale baboon signs. The floors here, of course, all been freshly vacuumed. Everything is immaculate and polished and clean. There are no, signs of people who have come and gone, because the kind of people who stay on an unmarked hotel and, an unmarked hotel floor are very exclusive. So anyhow, but perhaps some further investigation may help your chances of getting the right door without having to barge in on probably dangerous people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle's willing to do that.
All right.
Get the job done. A 3 and a 2.
So you're going to fail and something bad is going to happen. What bad thing do you think could happen?
Is this just the classic sitcom, like you're listening at a door and then you just kind of fall through the door into the room?
Oh, absolutely. The door opens. Perfect. So the door opens and there are 2 people. They are nude from the waist down as to accentuate the amount of nudeness that they have on display, to make them look extra naked.
Like Donald Duck.
Yeah, they're Donald Ducking it. And one guy looks like some sort of like high-end, like super suave guy, and he's like, allow me to get us a little more champagne. And then he goes to like open the door, and then like you plop in there, and he goes, what are you doing here? And pulls a gun on you.
I heard you wanted some room service? And Kyle's just like immediately reclining on the door frame. As you see in his art, he's not wearing an undershirt and just kind of, pizza boying it up at the intro to adult films.
Let's see. He is going to be, I would say, rightly extremely suspicious of somebody doing that. And do you guys want to maybe roll some dice for combat? Because he's going to try to attack you.
So let's do that. Am I empty-handed?
You don't have to be. We'll say you start out empty-handed, but if you wish to not be.
All right. So it's very clear that he's not buying the Pizza Boy act.
Yeah, he's definitely not buying it. So he is going to. He obviously doesn't have a gun on him right now, but what he's going to do is he's going to reach for like his overcoat, and we'll say like that's hanging up by the door, and he's gonna like go to grab a weapon or something, and it turns out to be a gun, but he hasn't like trained it on you guys because he's like been taken by surprise, and his partner is going to duck under the bed and helpfully shout, "Get him!"
More often than not, I hope this man is not on a hair trigger.
Oh, I think he's still in the refractory period. You're probably a little safe.
Yeah. Well, Kyle has dealt with the odd situation turning a bit sour in such a way, and he rolled a 6 and a 4, which I think is fairly good for, I would say, an immediate lunge as soon as he could tell things were going south.
All right, well, because you have to get more than an 8 to react, so I'm going to say you absolutely react. And I guess, are you just trying to tackle him?
Tackle and not disarm because he's not armed, but prevent from being armed, I guess. Grapple him to the ground.
All right, you have a half-nude man. You have tackled the midsection of a half-nude man and successfully grappled him.
Great.
Now that has happened. Team?
Do you want us to interfere, or are you feeling good about this?
I mean, I'm feeling something pretty good, but a little help might be nice.
Shall we interfere with this calm discussion and words, or should we apply violence?
If I successfully grappled that person, and I got a 4 in there as well, so I'm kind of assuming I did. He's not armed. He's not... Well, he's prone. I think you guys can walk in without being threatened.
Oh, that's right. You got a 4, so something good happened. So not only do you tackle him, and not only is he prone, but his, you know what? Maybe they're very inclined to listen to you, so you don't hurt them a lot.
They feel very vulnerable right now.
Maybe this is, in fact, what they ordered, like a pizza boy to tackle them. They're looking for exactly what you're providing.
All right.
We were simply attempting to pick the lock to be discreet.
So
maybe we should just close that door and go on to the next one and listen at it.
You're going to leave Kyle behind?
Only if he asks us to.
Sure, that sounds like a fun time. I don't know. You guys deal with the other problem, the other baboon around here.
I mean, it shouldn't take you much time to finish them off, but I know that you might take a little more time than is necessary for us to be able to get some investigation done, so we will wait.
All right. Well, in that case, so Kyle and the man that the half-naked man that he has grappled and his undefined partner are going to have an actually very nice time, and they don't even need more champagne. So the 3 of you now have 5 other doors that you can investigate, and I think maybe you can listen very carefully. And I will say, at one door, you hear absolutely stone nothing. At another door, you hear very faint classical music. And at a third door, you hear someone who appears to be having some sort of business conversation. And he's talking about colorful, weird lobsters. You're somebody who's having a business conversation about weird lobsters. And there is a woman in the room with him.
So, classical music.
Yeah.
Yes, if I were some sort of highly intelligent ape, I think I would enjoy some classical music.
If I may suggest, it's not fun to, but shall we at least try the silent door first, in case the ape is sleeping? And if there's no one there, no harm, no foul, and then we can move on to the classical music.
That's fair. Hey, so how are you going to get into this silent door?
Pick the lock again?
Try to pick the lock.
Good. 2 and a 3.
Oh, that in fact means that you fail and something bad happens.
Ooh.
Ian, what bad happens?
What bad can happen when you're picking a lock? I mean, I could break my tools, which would be an easy way to make this a bad thing. But on the other hand,
do you also fall through the door like Kyle did?
No, you know what? I'm just going to say that I break my tools.
All right.
It's a significant bad enough thing to happen at this stage.
All right. Your lockpick shears in half, and it was your favorite one. That sucks. You have to go talk to a man who only takes cash in a very dark alley to get very good tools. Again, I suppose that it will be inconvenient.
Yeah.
All right.
Fortunately, I have my Amazon shop in the middle of a back alley, but here we are.
Well, I feel that there's something to be said for being direct, and so I go up to the classical music door and I knock on it.
There is no answer on the classical music door.
Well, we're hooped.
Try with your foot and once instead of many small times.
Oh, thank you very much. And I take my friend's advice, who was very good at getting into doors, and I apply some pedal pleasure. No, that's in the other room down the hall. I kick it very forcefully right where the mechanism would latch into the frame.
Still needs more specifics.
Oh, okay.
Still them all.
Right under the door handle, I kick it very hard with a sharp, forceful motion.
And you're super strong, aren't you, Patterson?
I'm 7 foot tall and mainly muscle.
I'm gonna
You're a
say
big beefy boy.
Big beefy boy.
Even these reinforced high-end locks on a secret floor in a very exclusive hotel are no match for your frankly inhuman strength. And the door pops open, and the inhabitant of the room, who is wearing like a bathrobe and reading a book, goes, "Bah!" The inhabitant of the room that is wearing a bathrobe and is reading a book is also a baboon. So,
bingo.
No, Louis.
Oh, sorry. Louis.
Bingo is the dog.
Sorry. That was his name. Oh, you're right. Louis. And I say, Louis.
And the baboon looks at you and he puts down his book and he goes, "Bah!" He's a baboon. He can't talk. He's a powerful psychic baboon, in fact, and he beams some information directly into your brain. So it's like he can talk, but he obviously can't phonate English words because that would be ridiculous. So this powerful psychic baboon speaks into your mind, and even Kyle, you hear this somehow, and it's a little distracting, but you're able to power through, I'm sure. And it says, "What are you doing here?"
What?
We're just trying to make sure that he isn't being held against his will. That's all we have to do, right?
Absolutely.
This is out of character. I'm just trying to make sure all we have to do is make sure he's free to go where he wants to go.
Yeah, I think Robert was quite convinced that if Louis could come back, he would probably do so.
Okay.
So yeah, so he says, "What are you doing here? Who are you?"
We're just checking in. We're friends of Robert's.
And then, so, he's an older baboon. He's got white hair and stuff like that, but he's still, I would say, outstanding in his field. So then he goes and gets very big. And the bathrobe, even though it's a normal size human bathrobe, it was kind of like big on him, suddenly like seems to grow tight as he like goes into like angry baboon mode. And he says, "Have you come to take me back?"
Not if you want to go back. When we say we're friends of Robert's, we're better friends of Queen Necropsies. We
animals. See?
Yes. Very sorry to disturb you. No, we don't want to force you to do anything you don't want to do, Louis. We were just downstairs talking to some hippies, and they put forward a fine worldview about the present situation of the modern day baboon. We are sympathetic to your cause.
So sorry that there's like a sirens going by my window. If that was okay, they've stopped. Thank goodness. Yes.
Importantly as well, we have a track record of helping animals in need.
Just go to the John A. McDonald's down the street. And,
Yeah. Mammals, arthropods, or perhaps birds. Anyone is allowed.
So, Louis, are you free to come and go as you please?
Can a baboon ever truly be free in today's society? He says. He says, I am certainly feel that I should be free to learn and to, change jobs and to be fairly compensated for my wages, get paid vacation, a health and dental plan that comes with, more humane care than a veterinarian, even though I have made Robert incredibly rich. But, I can't say that I am free, but I say that I am free now, a free baboon.
Oh, good for you. And how are you paying for this hotel room?
Well, I have been working for him for 10 years, uncompensated for my labor. And after my awakening, I began to realize that that numbers had meaning, and that money was being earned from my labors, from my sweat, from my body. And I taught myself accountancy, and I've siphoned off what I think is 10 years of fair wages.
Because your cage was right next to the accountant's desk. My
Absolutely.
God, you're a financial genius.
Well, I
And you
would
just
hardly call
hear-
myself a genius, he says, but he's never been able to tell anybody what he's done, and he's actually got a lot of stuff to get off his chest. So now that the floodgates have opened, that he's just admitted to the world that he is some sort of psychic baboon who taught himself accountancy and then learned how to cook books, that he's got a lot of things to talk about. So this will go on for a while, this exposition. Kyle, what do you hear?
And, well, you guys hear from your room down the hall, just very muffled, the music getting cranked as loud as possible to drain out any of this psychic conversation that he is only hearing one half of.
What music do you crank?
Some good, Donna Summers, maybe some Diana Ross, some old classics.
Perfect. All right.
I think we just need to make sure that Dr. Fang can get in touch with Louis, because she's the person we actually care about making happy. We give her all this information. We say, here's this intelligent...
I think there's an easy way to do this. Louis, there's in fact someone I think you should meet. Someone who might in fact be interested in putting your skills to use in the future. As perhaps a covert accountant.
And how would I be compensated for my wages?
Well, if myself and my friends are anything to be to refer to, quite well.
Excellent. People always think they can pay a baboon peanuts, but I tell you, I'm worth lots, and I don't even like peanuts that much.
Yeah, they are more of a crow food.
Yeah. So you can negotiate with Louis, and the terms of his thing will be that a French English dictionary, because he's trying to read Le Socialisme droit à travail. That's what he's been trying to read.
All I want to do is put him on the phone with Dr. Claw.
Oh, perfect.
Dr. Fang.
Yeah.
Dr. Fang. All right.
Literally just put him on the phone.
Well, he doesn't. If you put him on the phone, it's going to be what, because he's a baboon. But he speaks psychically, so you have to sort of I don't know if he could.
Can you email?
Oh yes, he's completely literate. That's how he's been talking with all the PIBA kids. He can type.
So we just need his permission to give his contact information to Dr. Fang.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? He's looking for a new line of work.
Ah, exactly. I think we are for a signing bonus, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we go back and tell Mr. Honest that Louis is free to move around as he requested, and then we tell Dr. Fang actual information.
Yeah.
I think all of that will happen.
Okay. So then we hang out until Kyle's done.
And that'll happen at some point. Let's not get into it.
Honestly, Kyle, if I were you, I'd actually want some gorilla talking about Excel spreadsheets in my head while I'm trying to keep it going.
It's a baboon. Yeah.
Kyle is not the same man as you, Ian.
So I think in conclusion, everyone has a great time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You all get a signing bonus, right? You get to learn a lot about socialism from a baboon.
We have a powerful ally with an Alamara.
Oh yeah, and three teenagers get wasted on White Claws.
So I think we need to make sure that Louis has a cell phone that we have the number to.
All
So
right.
I'll just buy him a cell phone.
Oh, he already has a cell phone. He's very capable. He can just give you a cell phone number.
Oh, okay. And are these teenagers assets we could point at something in the future if we needed a distraction?
Absolutely. They owe you a White Claw debt.
You do have
Okay.
the ability to contact them somehow via text over a picture sharing platform. So yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. You have Patterson's following at Jacobite 2003 on Twitter or on Instagram. So
Okay. So are there any other loose ends we need to tie up?
Kyle already tied all of those up. I think we can move on.
What I'm still curious about is that the van that took those odd scorpions was a green van similar to the one run by Honest Roberts Landscaping. So Patterson is just getting my screwdrivers mixed up. Patterson is
Go on.
Patterson says aloud to the group, "This is all great, but what about the green van and the odd scorpions and the connection between the landscaping company?"
That's a very good question, Herr Slothead. We have not asked Louis whether or not he has. How did you escape? How did you get out?
I picked the lock, and then I went to the drawer where they keep the keys to the cars, to the vans. Then I got a van key, and then I locked it, and I put the key back because that would be inconsiderate of me not to like take the key to the other keys. And then I drove the van here.
Okay, and at this point, I put on a trench coat, just put my hands in the pockets. One more thing, Mr. Guerrero. You ever been outside of the of your enclosure before? On your own like that? Or is this the first time you've ever been out without supervision?
This has been a carefully planned break. I've been working on this for months.
Then this is not the same van driver.
All right. Strange. I don't have much more to. If he doesn't know, and I believe him. I know a baboon. I know a good baboon an honest baboon when I see one. And I think he's telling us everything he knows.
Yeah, aside from the accountancy fraud, he's a very honest baboon.
Yeah, we could go into the hypocrisy that he's leaving all of his companions behind, Queen Necropsy and whatever, just sort of locked up.
Part of his negotiating bonus, and I actually literally have this in my notes, swear to God, is that he's setting up a trust fund to care for his other less smart baboon friends.
Oh, that's lovely.
I am so glad that he's working for Dr. Fang now.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah. So his goal is to one day have the Louis Blanc Alhamar and Baboon Reserve. But for now, he'll just help you cook the books. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our session. Everyone's had a great time. Some people more enthusiastically than others. So thank you very, very much for joining us. We'll be back with more Over the Edge at some point. Thank you very much.